This is the Chevrolet Sports Night.
And warm greetings and welcome inside the Greensboro Coliseum for this edition of the Chevrolet Sports Night. I am Mike Solartze here at the ACC tournament. And before we get into this program, I've been at this nearly 30 years. And today is by far the weirdest day in my sportscasting career. We will chronicle all of it for you over the next 10 minutes, and of course throughout the course of this program. But we're going to start things off with the ACC tournament, and we will get to the basketball in just a moment, because the coronavirus has become the story that has now overtaken the sports world in the United States of America. College basketball tournaments around the country have been affected. The Ivy League postponed their tournament before it even began. Tournaments that have gotten underway, much like the ACC, well, they now will continue without fans in the stands. That announcement coming from the league earlier this evening. I'll show you some of the pictures from around the Coliseum as fans were walking around prior to the start of the North Carolina-Syracuse game in the night session here inside the Coliseum. And while the league sent out the official notice to the media that it's beginning on Thursday, fans will not be allowed into the building. The word was starting to filter in through some of the spectators in the building. Here's what some of them had to say upon hearing the news that starting Thursday, it'll be players, essential personnel, and that's it.
It's disappointing because you're cutting it short for the fans, and considering you have 3 more days, I think it's bad timing.
Of course we're disappointed. We're here in Greensboro and we love the ACC. We love it when the ACC tournament is right here in our hometown. And I know that a lot of businesses were counting on some revenue, but we just like the excitement and we want to be a part of these games. So yes, we're disappointed.
I struggle with it, but I mean, if it's the best, if it's the best in the interest of the public, I understand it. I wish they had made the decision before the tournament started so that people wouldn't have traveled in 2 days. So we got to go back home, but I guess it is what it is.
Well, fans were taking the news in stride. Obviously disappointed that that no fans will be allowed inside the building as a precautionary measure in preventing against the spread of what could be the coronavirus that has been, and we'll chronicle this more as we go along, but this is a preventative measure. This is not a reactionary measure because of someone that may have tested positive. This is the ACC and other leagues taking a proactive step in trying to halt and prevent the spread of the coronavirus. Now, this news from the ACC coming on the heels of the NCAA announcing that their tournament, men's and women's basketball tournaments, will be played also without fans in the stands. And NCAA President Mark Emmert releasing a statement on Wednesday saying, I quote, I've made the decision to conduct our upcoming championship events, including the Division I men's and women's basketball tournaments, with only essential staff and limited family attendance. While I understand how disappointing this is for all fans of our sports, this decision is in the best interest of public health, including that of coaches, administrators, fans, and most importantly, our student athletes. And of course, once that news dropped, it was the first domino in essence for many other tournaments to follow that lead. Coaches here in Greensboro reacted to that decision on Wednesday.
Look, it's a serious problem, and it's not an athletic problem. It's a problem all across the country. And so I don't think anybody here or anybody in the sports world should obviously complain about what the people that know what's going on will decide to do. In our situation, we'll play wherever they tell us, but we also want to make sure that our kids and our coaches are all protected and are safe.
I think moving forward, one of the things you think about is player safety, the student athlete. I spoke to my kids last night before we went over the scouting report, and I told them, I said, look, I want you to know, if you talk to your mom, we're going to keep you safe.
All right, leads us to our Twitter poll tonight. We asked you, how do you feel about the NCAA's decision to hold March Madness without the fans? You can head to our Twitter account @sports_night and cast your vote on tonight's Twitter poll. And joining me here inside the Greensboro Coliseum is our own JB Ricks. And college basketball tournaments being canceled, being played without fans. The big bombshell coming just maybe an hour or so ago, the NBA deciding to suspend their season after one player with the Utah Jazz apparently preliminarily tested positive for coronavirus.
Yep.
And I mean, it's hard to put this day into words with what we've seen, but this is the reality. This is where we are right now, and these measures being put into place are preventative in the hopes of halting the spread of what's going on.
I mean, it goes back to what you said at the top of the show, as far as you being in this business for 30 years and you've never seen anything like this before. And I actually, hopped on my Twitter account and I said, it's just not going to be the same without the fans in the building. Me personally, I do this for our viewers. I do this for the fans, and they're the ones that make these environments worthwhile. And it's going to be strange to be in a building with a huge game going on and no fans in there.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Exactly, 4 of them and whatnot. I'm coming from the NC State and Duke perspective or whatnot, and it's just, I know how passionate these fan bases are here in North Carolina, and for them to not be able to participate in the ACC tournament, it's mind-blowing right now.
Yeah, and that's where we are.
Yeah,
so we will
absolutely.
continue with the ACC tournament without fans in the building beginning on Thursday, which is quarterfinal Thursday.
Yes,
now,
sir.
All right, we've talked about coronavirus.
Okay.
Let's talk basketball.
Exactly.
A huge game this afternoon. NC State was on the floor, and of course, NC State was well documented. They've had a pretty good season to date, but one that maybe isn't good enough in the eyes of the NCAA tournament selection committee. Is it good enough? Well, they're going to need. The thought was they needed a couple of wins, and it would start on Wednesday with their first game of the tournament. They took a look at the Pitt Panthers, who were winners on Tuesday and advanced to this round. What happened in that game? Why don't we just show you? In a game NC State had to have, they would lead wire to wire. In fact, this game was tied just once at 7-7. Devin Daniels posting 15 first-half points in only 12.5 minutes worth of work. He sat the final 7.5 minutes of the opening 20, saddled with 2 fouls. The Pack led by 3 at recess, and they never allowed the Panthers a shot to get back in the game. C.J. Bryce would post a 13-point, 10-rebound double-double. Devin Daniels leads all scorers with 23 as NC State dumps Pitt 73-58, setting up a third meeting of the season against the 4th seed Duke Blue Devils on Thursday.
We're going to have to come out focused, energized. We're going to have to lock into the game plan and to the scouting report. We're just going to have to go out there and compete and play with a lot of energy.
Well, Devin Daniels was obviously a big factor in this one and helping NC State win that game today, getting their 20th win of the season, 20-12, 10-10 overall in the, or 11-10 now, I should say, in ACC play. Is it enough? Well, they've got another opportunity when they take on Duke. But looking at this game, NC State's win over Pitt, what did you see?
I can tell you right now that NC State knew they came in strictly on the bubble, and they have to get at least a couple of wins to kind of give themselves some reassurance come Selection Sunday, and they played like that with their energy from the get-go. But it started with their defense leading to offense, and of course, the fellow Michigander leading them in scoring. You knew I was going to get that.
I know that, yeah.
Knowing it was do or die coming into Greensboro, NC State showed their potential of being better than a bubble team. They're clearly taking on the mentality of defense winning championships here at the ACC tournament.
We just wanted to come out, and defend. We knew that, once we started defending and things like that, the game will open up. And, Coach Keith just got in our head and things like that and just told us, if you come out and defend, we're going to get open shots, open breaks and stuff like that.
The Pack mustered up 4 blocks and 11 steals, helping them out to plenty of transition buckets, most of which came before halftime.
It was very key. I think we had 15 points off turnovers in the first half. It's really, I don't care how many threes you make or what you do, it's hard to beat a team when you have so many turnovers and they capitalize on all those turnovers.
Devin Daniels' performance surely led the way, scoring 23 points, even though some early foul trouble kept Pitt in the game.
They should have had 30 if they didn't call that foul on them, but a great player. We have guys who can score the ball, guys who can make plays, and he did a great job for us today, and ultimately we got this win.
Just trusting my teammates more, trusting my coaches more, getting more comfortable. Just playing really hard. I feel like when I play and give maximum energy on offense and on defense, I feel like that helps the whole team.
Now they'll need one more dub if they want to assure themselves a spot in the big dance, and it'll have to come in a rubber match with rival Duke.
I don't think it was a big matchup. I just think it was another game. We're coming out to do something we do every day of our lives. So we just got to treat it that way.
It's still the same challenge, but it's just a bigger platform. At this time of the year, just players are going to play. So they're going to bring their best, and we're going to bring our best.
Well, there you have it. NC State is still alive when it comes to the NCAA tournament, and they have a huge matchup with Duke, and there's no question in my mind, if they win this game, the rubber match with the Blue Devils, they'll be in safely to the NCAA tournament.
I would completely agree with that. 2 wins over Duke, no matter the outcome, if they win by 1 or they win by 22 like in the first meeting, a win over Mike Krzyzewski's Blue Devils will get them in, no doubt.
Absolutely.
All right, JB Ricks joining us here tonight. We'll have much more for you. Other scores from today's action here while we are in the throes of talking about day 2 here at the ACC tournament. Clemson a 69-65 winner over Miami. Alamir Dawes with 18, Amir Sims with 16, and Notre Dame took care of Boston College 80-58. 5 Fighting Irish in double figures. TJ Gibbs leading the way with 16 points for Mike Bray's Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Tar Heels, by the way, playing Syracuse as well, and we can't show you the highlights, but they are in a bad way. 48-27 as they play in half number 2. Heels were down 43-22 at the break. All right, that's a wrap for right now from the Greensboro Coliseum. We've got a lot more to get to on the program. There were a lot of other things happening in the world of sports tonight. We told you earlier the NBA has called off the rest of their season, or at least suspended it. Well, that means the Charlotte Hornets played their last game for some time, taking on the Miami Heat. We'll bring you the pictures coming up next here in the Chevrolet Sports Night. Don't go away.